So this is just a quick introduction to the basic way that effects work in Avid, which is actually quite different from Final Cut Pro. This is one of those places where you actually need to kind of get your head around a different way of working. With Avid, the way that effects work is they're always in the timeline. You're not working in the source monitor. You're not applying effects seemingly in a viewer window. All the effects occur in the sequence window. The way that effects work is pretty simple. For example, here I've got a 2-track effect. You can see on track 1, this is the girl swinging the bat, and track 2 is this low angle shot of the batter. And if I want to create a simple picture-in-picture effect, well, how do I get to effects? There's a couple of places where you can find your effects. The most common one for me, because I've been editing on Avid so long and this was the only place to find them originally, is in your tools, you choose the effect palette. And the effect palette comes up. It's this little floating window. You can resize it to any size you want, and you can see the list of types of effects there are on this side, and then inside of each category of effects on this side of the screen are all the individual effects that you can actually apply. These are the things that are the actual effects. So this is kind of like the effect menu in Final Cut Pro, where you've got a single group and then individual items inside that group. 3D Warp is basically our picture-in-picture effect. Also, we've got another one that's called picture-in-picture down here, which is a little less complex. We can use that. Just basically click it and drag it, and that adds effects to your sequence. So that's one place you can find the effect palette. The other way, because I love my keyboard, is Command 8 calls up the same thing. And another way to find your effects is in your project settings here, where you find your bins and your settings. The next one over is effects, and you'll see that this is the exact same list that you get by hitting Command 8. So this is how you find your effects and apply them. And once you apply your effects, what you want to be able to do, of course, is change the parameters. To do that, we're going to go into effects mode. And the easiest way to do that is probably to click on this button right here at the top of your timeline, or this exact same button is down here in your timeline panel. So you can click either place, and that brings up your effect editor. And the effect editor is where you change all the parameters. It's pretty simple to do. You can have control over your border. You can control the color of it. You can control the blend of it, the foreground, the scaling. Well, let's change the scaling. That's a pretty obvious thing. So you just move the sliders here, and the scaling changes as you move them. If you want to be able to do keyframed moves, you simply add a keyframe, go to the end, and add another keyframe. We're going to cover keyframing in a little bit, but I just kind of wanted to show you how easy it was to have that alter, and then if we play back the effect, you can see that it definitely happens in real time. So that's a little bit about adding effects and changing effects in Avid.